From time to time, in between unboxing and reviewing other retro toys, I like to unbox and review what I consider the greatest toy line ever made. The 1984 Superpowers collection by Kenner. Myself and all the Superpowers fans around the world were caught off guard by McFarlane releasing their own versions of the Superpowers. I had to get myself a Batwing and a new Supermobile, not just to unbox and review them for my channel, but because they look pretty darn good. But the action figures, on the other hand, aesthetically, they didn't really do it for me. And moreover, they don't even have any superpowers. There's no action for them. So I didn't feel the need to really go out and collect these. But my brother showed me his small little collection of the new Superpowers, and they don't look that bad. And I did tell myself that I would collect the figures that Kenner failed to release. So here we are. It's Jon Stewart, Green Lantern. My first initial feeling on seeing this figure hanging off the pegs was euphoric nostalgia, but there was something just different. When I turned the packaging and I looked at the back, I had that feeling even more. There's just something lacking. But it was on clearance for $7. But upon bringing it home and comparing it side by side to the real thing, there is no comparison. It's a very nice gesture that McFarlane went back and made the Superpowers. But like I said on my previous videos, they don't have superpowers, and there's something off on their facial designs that just makes it pretty off-putting. Then the packaging lacking a certain something. Like, look at just the front. There's something lacking. Maybe it's missing an offer. Maybe it's because it's missing the comic book. But on the back, so much empty space where it's so busy on the original one, it could entertain you for weeks. Besides my box original Green Lantern, I do have a loose original Green Lantern. So after I'm done unboxing this guy, we're gonna compare them. Now that he's out, let's smell him. There's not much of a new toy smell on this guy, and that's just another small little disappointment. Before I toss the packaging, I just want to say that I actually like how the bubble came with an extra bubble that's molded around the figure, so you don't have the figure inside the bubble just shaking around. But then again, if they would just reduce the plastic on this packaging, make it thinner, make it a little bit smaller, just the size of the figure, then you wouldn't really have that problem, as this original Superpowers Green Lantern doesn't really have that problem. Yeah, his lantern goes in all sorts of directions, but it's not very troublesome. Let's start off with his accessory, that lantern. It looks pretty darn cool. The sculpting of it is really nice, and it feels like it could be pretty sturdy because it's not super stiff. I wish I had a loose Superpowers lantern that I could compare it with. But we can see it through the plastic here. It is different. See the other side? This lantern has this same opening on both sides, whereas the Superpowers lantern, it's not open there, but it is right there. And now Jon Stewart. He looks good. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just too used to the original Superpowers, but that head just seems a little too small for me. Looking at his face from this angle, it's not bad. And he's got a pretty cool haircut. Let's take a look at his articulation. He's got articulation at the head, arms, hip, and knee for 7 points of articulation. Let's have Jon Stewart hold his lantern. There we go. And he looks really cool. I don't mind this look at all. I do wish that green on him was a little shinier just so he could match up even better with Hal Jordan. Let's bring in Hal Jordan. You see how the green is shiny on this figure? Now this plastic is green, and the green on here is painted on the black plastic. So maybe that might cause that dullness, because I do see the black part shiny very nice. The Earth decal is really nice on this figure. Even on his hand right there. Well, let's squeeze the legs. So this is an old beat up Hal Jordan, but there he goes. He's starting to work. While this very new Jon Stewart just doesn't do it. I mean, they're supposed to be called superpowers for a reason. And that main reason was because these figures had superpowers. And these figures, unfortunately, they don't. But oddly enough, it does remind me of some other cool figures from the early 2000s. Here's a Jon Stewart for the Justice League Unlimited figures. To me, it's starting to seem like these new Superpowers McFarlane figures kind of bridge the gap between the Justice League Unlimited series and the original Superpowers series. If you got any of the Justice League figures, put them together with your superpowers and your new superpowers, and they'll look fantastic. On my final analysis, it's okay. Like the packaging, there's something lacking, but it's alright. The figure, his head is kind of too small. It's not shiny enough. He's lacking on a lot of points, but it's alright. Putting him next to certain figures, he looks fantastic. But putting him up against the Superpowers, the original 1984 classic line, that's when it starts coming apart. Now, if these figures were called anything but Superpowers, these figures would be fantastic. But if you're trying to follow the greatest action figure toy line ever made, that is a daunting task. This figure, he's okay. You know what? Everything I said could be easily summed up by this woman, the way she talked about her child.
Look what the fuck I got. Look at him. He is so funny looking. He got all this hair though. My little girl, she bald head. But his funny looking self, he got all the hair. I ain't want to have no ugly baby. One minute he look all handsome, and the other minute he look like fucking Alien versus Predator. He need to pick a side. He need to pick it quick. Got me walking around. This your baby? Oh, bless his heart. Yeah, I know what that shit mean. That's cool though.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share. And check out my other Superpowers collection toy unboxing reviews.